I'm going to play this for you. And if you value it, great. If you don't, great. But I have to do it because when I heard it, I was really stunned at the severity of it. Michael Lombardi, former NFL executive, hosts a podcast with Adnan Vert. He was asked a question about who do you think is in line for the number one pick? And I just expected him to say the Dolphins and move on, or maybe the Giants. What came next was, I honestly, I was shocked hearing it. It was his comments about your Lions. But there's a tidbit in there about Stafford that at least made it worth playing. Sully the audio, and then we discuss.
I hear Matthew Stafford's back still not 100%. I hear Matthew Stafford still has back troubles. I mean, they have no backup quarterback, and Stafford has his wife. Hopefully she's improving, who has an off-the-field issue. And then he's got a bad back from last year, and they've got nothing really behind him. Like, how could they not be a lock for the first pick in the draft based on where they are with their roster?
Dear Jesus. And the other one?
Put up or shut up, man. I don't think they're a very good team. I don't think, especially in that division, I don't think anybody expects the Lions to be a 500 team.
I'd bet the under on the Lions. I think that's one of the best bets of all time because there's a good chance Matthew Stafford's not 100%. I was told late last night that Matthew Stafford is not really 100%, and he may not be 100% for a while, and it's going to take some time. And if it's going to take a hit, like their offensive line isn't very good. They're looking for linemen left and right. I mean, their team, I know they have it. They just signed Snack Harrison to a $12 million one-year contract. They say they're the Detroit Patriots. Do you think the Patriots would give a defensive lineman $12 million for 1 year and not get more years? Seriously.
That's an outrageous amount of money for a what?
I mean, and they've overpaid. Do you think the Patriots would pay Trey Flowers $18 million for on a contract? They had Trey Flowers. They thought that was a ridiculous, So it's in one breath they say they're the Patriots, and then they act like the old Lions. They just sign players. I don't have a lot of hope for that team. I really don't.
All right, so take apart the comments. I mean, look, if you want to say he didn't talk to anybody, he's making it up. Cool. Then I'll save you the 10 cents for the phone call, right? But look, if that's true, that Stafford's back is really the issue here, and there's a level of concern about his ability to play 16 games this year beyond the normal risks of the job, that would impact how I feel about this team, of course. But when you start talking about the number one pick in the draft, I have never considered the Lions to be amongst that, dirty half dozen teams like the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Giants, that are really headed for rock bottom. I think the Bengals would be in that classification too. Just help me out with this here. Because, look, if you think the Lions are going to stink and they're going to be 6-10, 7-9, that's one thing. Number one pick in the draft, you're talking 3 wins. 4 wins max. That, to me, is unfathomable. Unless Stafford missed extended time. But Mike Lombardi put it out there. You tell me what you believe, what you don't. I know I've been positive about this team this offseason. I believe they're better than Vegas has given them credit for. Does Lombardi's comments give me pause? Of course it does. I mean, I'd be stupid to not say it at least makes me think a little. But Jesus. I mean, is this where really we're at? Have we missed the boat this badly with this team?
Well, that's what I fear because, as I said before, when you guys created the drop of me, I just don't want another season of this, man. And
well, you don't sound like the drop. The drop is exquisite.
I don't. How did I say it? I don't want another season of this, man.
I know, and then we sped it up and we made it sound like you were sucking on a balloon.
Well, here's my thing.
Just don't want another season of this, man.
I thought the same thing last year, though. I thought that when people were coming out saying the Lions are going to win 6 games, I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, they're at least a better team than 6 wins. And what happens last year? They are not a good team. So, yeah, when I hear this stuff this year, what is my initial response? My initial response is, you're crazy for saying that they'll win 3 games. People are crazy for saying that the Lions are just going to suck again. They got better this offseason. So I don't get it, but if anything, it just makes me fear that if I'm going to get burned again and that somehow the Lions are going to regress and not be good once again when it's a season that I thought they would be. I don't think there's been plenty of years where I look to the Lions season in the preseason and say, hey, this team's going to be pretty bad. Maybe we start looking ahead, sneaking a peek at the draft board next year, seeing what top pick the Lions could get.
Sure.
I've never felt like that about this season.
Same.
I've never thought, oh, the Lions might have the number 1 pick next year. Now we got people saying that. That's crazy to me.
I never considered it. It's the same thing when USA Today came out and said it. But I think the Stafford thing is interesting. I mean, look, he's putting himself out there saying he's talked to somebody, and he put it out there for public consumption. And I know he's not a journalist, but you can't make a habit of putting stuff like that out there and being grossly wrong on it. Obviously, if Stafford came out, played all 16 games, running around like a maniac, and throws for 5,000 yards, Lombardi's going to look like a complete idiot. But I want to see where people are at with this, because I was really taken aback. And obviously, I'm not some Lions lover. I'm not some, Lions, quality organization. I mean, come on. My track record is what it is. I tell you how I feel. This is remarkable to me.
But here's also the problem. Lombardi's not the first person to say stuff similar to this. It's not the first time we've read a headline this year about the Lions sucking this upcoming season. So it's one thing. That's why you preface the topic by saying, hey, if you just want to dismiss it, that's fine. I'd love to just sit here and say, oh, well, hey, this is just one guy trying to create some headlines. I completely dismiss this. But we've heard several people say similar stuff about the Lions underperforming, about them going under 6 wins. And it's kind of gotten to a point where it's like, I can't see this happening. But if enough people say it, it does make me kind of wonder.
Well, and the bad part, too, is like I'm sitting here feeling like everything is set up for them to go 2-0 to start the season. Arizona's going to be a really bad team debuting a rookie quarterback with a terrible O-line, and you got a top-5 D-line. Week 2, it's the Chargers, sort of. Russell Okung's not going to play, no left tackle. Melvin Gordon's not going to play, no all-pro running back. And Derwin James, who's arguably their best defensive player, just had surgery for a stress fracture. I think there's absolute possibility you could start 2-0. So I'm juxtaposing these two things where I go, wait, maybe they can get off to an okay start and be 3-2 after the first 5 versus people calling up saying they're going to be 0-5. And then you juxtapose it with this and you're like, am I on crack? Like, am I running around on bath salts and aluminum foil pajamas here? Because other people are going, oh, I had it 3-13. Oh, I had it. Could have number 1 pick in the draft. I go, what? What am I getting?
I don't want to hear from you.
No, Stephen, come on now. Please. Or as he famously says, stay off the weed. Yes.
That is blasphemous.
I don't think them starting 2-0 is blasphemous. I don't.
Stay off the weed.
Which of these things is true, people? 248-539-9797. Well, go ahead.
And if this is true, by the way, and I know Stafford looked good the other night. I know it was also just a couple of series in a preseason. No, I just want to say that. I realized that Stafford did look okay in terms of health the other night. But if this is remotely true about him being hurt, him having to miss 5-6 games this season potentially if the injury gets bad, if there's a legitimate injury concern, forget about the Colts making phone calls. The Lions should be trying to get another quarterback in here. I hope
like a legitimate backup?
Yeah, I hope that the backup quarterback isn't on the roster right now. They should be trying to get somebody in here that
I have terrible news for you. He is.
Well, and that's a shame because the backup quarterback situation is terrible.
Well, I recognize that. It's not quality.
And I know people can laugh at me for freaking out about a backup quarterback situation, but all it takes is one injury. And I'm not sitting here saying that every single team has amazing backups, but what I am saying is that the Lions' backup quarterback situation is, in my opinion, the worst in the NFL. Which, if your quarterback has some injury concerns, you have to at least prepare. God forbid he gets hurt.
What would you rather have as your backup quarterback? Tom Savage or dead guy?
A dead guy.
Okay, well, there it is.
Oh.
Bernie
I'm sure Tom Savage is a lovely person.
Bernie Lomax from Weekend at Bernie's or Tom Savage?
I just showed my kids that movie Saturday night.
Oh, that's very appropriate.
You know what I would rather have, though, Mike?
We have social services on line 9.
I would rather have had them draft a quarterback, like I've been saying the past 2 seasons, to draft a guy like Will Greer in the 3rd round.
Well, there it is. If you're expecting me to argue with Sully, I really can't. I think he's right.